as well as arguments, traffic violations. And as the days go by, he looks for more kicks, more escape from the troubles he brings on himself. Each time he feels the need for kicks or he's troubled, he returns to marijuana. He knows that marijuana isn't physically addicting. He doesn't know he's become psychologically dependent on it. But he's not worried. He knows he can handle it. In time, the continued use of marijuana causes psychic and physiological changes in his body. While under the influence of marijuana, his blood pressure increases. He feels unusual hunger and his central nervous system changes. His perception of depth and dimensions is radically changed. A low curb appears as a precipice. With a distortion of sight and sound, time is suspended. Fast action appears slow. The whole world is distorted. When the big blow comes, angry, resentful, humiliated, sinking into the pit of despair, and he needs help to pull himself out. But where should he look for it? Whom should he ask? The coach won't give him a break. The teacher? He's already failed him, so why keep on with studies? His parents? They don't understand anything. Religion? What a laugh that would give the gang. Those resources and others are available to him, but he thinks only a pal can help. Help split this square world. Help him forget everything and everybody. He's been dragging the weed now long enough to want to try a bigger kick. In his present frame of mind, the bigger, the better. Psychologically, he's ready to make the big C. His pals have introduced new props, and he's anxious to examine them. Caution, intelligence, normal defenses go up in pot smoke. Hank is a real hype, a hooked mainliner beyond hope. He is long past getting any kicks from marijuana. His body is conditioned to heroin, one of the most powerful, dangerous drugs known to man. So dangerous that its importation, even for medical uses, has been banned in the United States since 1925. Every day, the cost of his habit rises. $80, $90, $100 a day and more. Every day, he must have increasing amounts of the drug. To get it, he will lie, steal, murder, even trap the innocent. The outfit that he uses is the drug addict's only friend. With it, he can exist in his living hell until the next fix. Without it, he will suffer the unbearable tortures of withdrawal from the drug. To prepare the venom for his bloodstream, he empties heroin onto the spoon. Every grain is precious and cannot be spilled or wasted. A few drops of water are added to make a solution. Then the small wad of cotton, usually dirty, is placed on the spoon to serve as a filter. The solution is then drawn through the cotton filter and into the needle. This cotton is saved and used again and again, for if the addict is ever caught without the drug, he can cook the cottons and squeeze out a small amount. This is it then, the big time. The main line, the high point of every drug addict's existence. Of every 1,000 hikes who ride the toboggan to hell, only a few ever get on. Of course, Pete is careful not to let John see the actual needle pop. That is hidden, ignored, bypassed. Instead, only the fun, the kicks, the real blast is played up. The tourniquet is quickly tied and secured. The vein is enlarged. The hype is ready. All sanitary precautions are ignored and normal hygiene protections are out. All addicts run the risk of infecting themselves with tetanus, hepatitis, venereal, and other diseases. But in a race with time, To stop withdrawal, he doesn't think of such things. Right now, all that matters is the dirty needle, the germ-infested cotton, the poisonous drug. By now, John is psychologically ready for stronger drugs. To his confused brain, the idea of joining Hank in a bigger kick is highly enticing. It would be all right to try it just once, just to see what it's really like. The only thing is the ugly-looking needle, the vague, uncertain fear of maybe getting hooked. His pal laughs at his fear of a little needle. A small pop doesn't hurt. It only makes you fly. Besides, only squares get hooked. The hip guys are just occasional users. You blast every once in a while and quit whenever you like. A few pops now and then can't possibly hurt. The idea of a real kick without getting hooked takes hold. John isn't afraid, and he certainly isn't square. The chain reaction has reached the end of the line. He's handled alcohol, goofballs, marijuana. Now he's positive he can handle one little pop. But something seems to have gone wrong. The excuse of, "it can't happen to me," was all right for the first pop and the second and the third. But the more heroin he shoots, the more tolerance his body builds, and the more he needs. He needs a shot now, and he needs it badly. But this is the last one. After he's feeling better, he'll quit. Never touch the stuff again. Hank immediately recognizes the withdrawal symptoms in John. Nervousness, nausea, watering eyes, running nose. Too bad, but his pal Pete isn't around to fix him up. Hank needs every grain he has for his own fix. There's nothing to do but wait till Pete comes with more stuff. In the meantime, sweat it out, pal. You wanted kicks? Now pay the price. At first, it all seemed like such harmless fun. It was hip to go along with the gang. But where's the gang now? Why aren't they with him when he needs them most? Too late, he realizes that by joining to belong, he's more alone than ever. This is the one trip he must take all alone. Only he himself can experience the unbearable agony of withdrawal. Alternately, he will feel chills and burnings. Violent muscular cramps will rack his tortured body. He will vomit and then retch in uncontrollable convulsions. The agony will reach its peak in 36 to 72 hours, then continue for 2 more weeks. In the meantime, he must obey the rules of the drug addict's world of secrecy. His screams of pain can bring discovery. Worst of all, they can bring the law and forcible denial of the hell drug addicts must have. So cool it. Cut it. Strangle it. In the jungle land of narcotics, it's fight, claw, kill, and every man for himself. The demons of withdrawal pains have increased their torture. They run rampant through his body and prepare to multiply themselves hundreds of times again. Ironically, the only relief from his demons is through the very poison that originally hooked him. The same heroin that will bind him ever more tightly to his living hell. But the blessed temporary delivery is not given through any noble, charitable motives. It's just the final step in Pete's carefully laid plan. He's made another junkie and another source of money. Now, with the hook in deep, he twists it to make sure the victim will never get away. Now that John has experienced the horrors of withdrawal, he will make sure he gets his junk every day. His pal Pete will be glad to supply him, but only for money, plenty of money. For in the vicious racket that preys on human misery, there is no trust, no credit, no mercy. It's cash on the line or the unbearable agony of withdrawal. How to get the money presents tremendous problems. To secure this money, John must now do things he would never dream of doing before he was hooked. First, he sold his wristwatch, then his hi-fi. Today, it's his mother's best silverware. Although always pressed for more and more money to support his habit, John must preserve outward appearances. Every day, he must go through the motions, the pretense of living a normal life. No one must ever know he's a hopeless junkie. But the law enforcement officers, ever alert to the deadly drug traffic, are about to know. Helen, the swinger, the hip chick of the gang, has been picked up for shoplifting in a downtown store. Her previous arrests for shoplifting and prostitution, her addiction to narcotics, weigh heavily against her. But the shame, the stigma, the prison sentence she faces are of second importance now. Her immediate problem is getting another fix to hold off the terrible withdrawals. In police custody, she knows a fix is impossible. So she will settle for the next best thing and cooperate with the law. She will sell the gang, her friends, her soul for the help she needs to face the coming withdrawal tortures. Swiftly acting on her lead, those of the law strike back, and another small tentacle of the drug octopus is cut off. But the infected victims still go on. With a police record to haunt him as long as he lives, John uses the leniency of the law sometimes allowed first offenders. So, he enters a government hospital for the very best treatment modern science can give. Months later, the agony of withdrawals, the care, the treatments are behind him. Now that he's kicked the habit, he can try to pick up the pieces of his broken life. I wonder if Pete and Hank are out of prison yet. It won't do any harm to stop by and just say hello.